let's talk about the derivatives of the trig function, okay? Well, all these things came from the definition of the derivative, okay? Limit definition, okay? Limit h goes to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x over h, okay? We can derive all these things from there, okay? But like in this class, we are not going to show you how we can derive this one. But unfortunately, you have to memorize all this thing, okay? Sine prime is cosine. Cosine prime is minus sine. And tangent prime is secant square. And cosecant prime is minus cosecant and cotangent. And secant x prime is secant tangent. And cotangent prime is minus cosecant square, okay? So you have to memorize all these things. Then we're going to combine with the product rule and quotient rule. Does it make sense? Okay? So let's practice about this kind of like trig function derivative, okay? Here we go. Look at the first problem. Your function y is x squared times sine, which is product form. So we have to do like product rule, like to find y prime, okay? So like as I did before, let me show you how we can use the 4-piece puzzle bracket, okay? So first of all, this x squared, let's say it is the first function u. And then let's say sine x is second function v. Is that okay? And by the 4-piece puzzle bracket, y prime, or in a Leibniz form, dy over dx is equal to u prime times b plus, because this is product rule, right? And then u times b prime. That's it, okay? This is my puzzle. Now we have to find 4 pieces, right? Here we go. So my first piece u is x squared. Then we can easily find u prime is just 2x by the power rule, right? And then piece v is sine x. And we already memorized this, right? v prime is cosine x, okay? We have like all 4 pieces. Now it is time to do the puzzle, right? And u prime times v and plus u times v prime. That's it. This is the way to find y prime, okay? And what about problem B, okay? As you can easily figure that out, it is quotient form, fraction form, right? Then we have to use the quotient rule, okay? So let's do the same thing, okay? Here we go. So let's say your numerator function as u and whole denominator function, I'm talking about this guy. Let's say it is v. Now we're ready, okay? So now, okay, quotient rule. At prime of x or df over dx is equal to big fraction, right? And then first one prime, u prime times, well, like from your high school, you learned like a up prime, down something, right? I don't know, but you know. And do whatever you want to do, okay? And I use the red one instead, right? V minus, because that is quotient, right? U v prime over b squared. This is my puzzle. Then now we have to find the pieces, right? So first piece u, secant x. What is u prime? Secant x times tangent x. Unfortunately, there's no way to find this one by your hand, okay? In the exam, okay? You have to memorize this one, okay? Then what about next piece, v? Is, looks like u. 1 plus tangent x. Then b prime, 1 prime equals 0, and tangent x prime is secant square, right? Secant square of x, okay? Now we have like all 4 pieces, then let's do the puzzle, Okay, here we go. This is equal to, with a big fraction, okay? We need u prime secant x times tangent x times v. It is 1 plus tangent x, and it is minus because that is quotient, right? Let me extend more. And we need u and v prime, which is secant square x over the denominator function v square, 1 plus tangent x square, okay? But keep that in mind, as I told you, we do not have any simplifying issue, okay? So like, like as long as you type this one clearly on your website, they will accept as correct answer, okay? What about this problem, okay? Look at your function f. Oh, it is secant square x. Oh, what is that? Well, if you learned about like calculus before, and it is really tempting to use chain, okay? Yes, you can do that, okay? But like at this point, we didn't cover the chain rule yet, okay? But let me show you how we can find secant square x by the product, okay? It's really makes sense there, okay? Here we go. So secant square x, okay? Your function is secant square x, and we're gonna try to find the derivative of this function, right? Which is secant x times secant x prime, which is product form, okay? So let me use the blue color for the first function, which is secant x, even they are same, but like, we have to separate first function and second function, okay? And let me do little, okay? It is equal to first one prime, right? Secant x prime is secant x tangent x times second function, right? And then plus first function, the original one, times second function prime. Second function, secant x prime is secant x and tangent x. Does it make sense? So like, let me simplify a little bit, okay? It is equal to, oh, okay, look at that. We have like two secant, right? Secant square x times tangent x. And from second part, it is also secant square x times tangent x. So we can say that is 2 secant square x times tangent x, okay? If you know the product rule, if you know the chain rule, and you can double check with the chain, okay? It is same answer, okay? So now, let me try to apply this guy like to this problem, okay? Before starting at finding a prime, okay, let me write x times square root of x as the power form, okay? It is equal to x to the 1 times x to the 1 half, right? It is x to the 1 plus 1 half. So we can say it is x to the 3 half. That's much easier, okay? So we are not going to do the product rule for that one, okay? Here we go. Now, f prime x, or we can say df over dx is equal to secant square x prime. We figured that out, right? It is 2 secant square x times tangent x plus tangent x prime is secant square, right? 4 secant square x, and the last one is power rule, right? Plus 3 over 2 x to the 3 over 2 minus 1, which is 1 half. Right? And that's it. This is the answer for the first one, okay? Then what about next one? Definitely we're going to do the quotient rule, right? So as I did before, let me do the 4-piece puzzle way, okay? So first function, let's say it is u. And the second function, which is denominator, that's named v. Is that okay? Then g prime t, or in a Leibniz form, dg over dt is equal to 4-piece puzzle, okay? Oh, excuse me. U prime times v minus u v prime over b squared, okay? So we need like 4 pieces like for this puzzle, right? So first piece, u is 2 cosine t plus 1, then u prime is equal to minus 2 sine t, right? Because like 1 prime equals 0, right? And next put a piece. v is cosine t plus t, then v prime is minus sine t plus 1, okay? Now we are ready, okay? Then let's do the puzzle, okay? It is equal to with b fraction, okay? And we need u prime minus 2 sine t times v, which is cosine t plus t, and it is minus because we are talking about the quotient rule, right? And then we need u, 2 cosine t plus 1. We always need u, but like unfortunately we are separated, right? Because of like COVID-19. I'm so sad. And v prime, which is minus sine t plus 1 over like function b squared cosine t plus t to the square, okay? As I told you, we do not have any issue with the simplifying, so like please type clearly on your website, then you like it will be marked as correct answer, okay?